Right up today is Technics SL 1650. I think I hopefully have my camera mount figured out. The previous few videos I had challenges with the camera mount, and then my microphone wasn't working, and I've been a mess. So my son bought me a lavalier mic that's wireless, and it's great, but my camera would shut off after a minute. I never changed the default setting. And then once the camera shut off, the mic would shut off, and I wouldn't always think to turn it back on. And I don't think the camera should have shut it off, so maybe I shut it off. But regardless, I shot a couple videos where I had to like dub some audio over, and I thought that was just horrible. So and then my big fat head would get in the way, so I changed the mount location, and I think I'm in a good spot now. Hopefully, what we call the Miller melon doesn't get into the frame anymore. Or at least not as much as it used to. So, but onto this turntable, we have a Technics SL 1650. It came with a P mount cartridge, and I actually swapped that. I put that on another turntable because this cartridge was okay, and I wanted to put a regular cart on this. So, 1650 direct drive. This has got the tall dust cover because this is it's a stacker capable. So. You can stack records on it. I'm going to throw an Audio-Technica 3600L on this when I go to test it. But first, let's, assuming I can get whatever figured out on this, and this is just an evaluation. Working, of course, like everything is always supposed to be working, and a good percentage of the time it actually does not work. So let's just run this through its paces real quick and see what this does. There's no cartridge on here. All right. So plugged in. Let's give it a start. And that just came up. It's not actually. There we go. So that looks good. It's about in the right spot. And there's no weight on here. So let me take it to the end. And it picked up. And it came back. And it should shut off. So good. Let me look at speed. Speed is pretty erratic. So you can't see the lights, but the second I touch that pitch control, it's jumping all over, and it's skipping and moving. And so you're going to have to change these. Well, not change. We're going to have to clean the pitch controls. Let's see if auto stop works. It should just come back, drop it down. Although there's no weight, so it won't do that. All right. You know what I love about Technics turntables is they're reliable. They're reliable. They're reliable turntables. Oh, is this that? You know, I haven't come across the matte stickiness. I don't know if that's the oil, or that feels like it's something maybe spilled on there. I think something spilled on there. But I'm going to see if I can get that cleaned off. But for now, I'm going to move this out of the way and get my little turntable. You know, first, actually what I'm going to do first is, and I'm going to speed through this, but what I want to do is put the new cartridge on, and I'm going to do a cosmetic clean on here. There's a dust bug on here that was broken that I pulled off. Somebody, I mean, there's real effort in putting these felt pads on here. I don't know how much of this is going to be removable without damaging some of the finish. I'm going to try to be really careful. I'm going to try to use maybe some kind of solvent to soften that up a little bit and see if I can scrape it. So I'm going to do the cosmetic clean first, and then put the card in the head shell, and then I'll come back, talk about if I found anything here, and then we will discuss cleaning those pitch controls. All right, so I got out my heat gun and just was very carefully, I set it to the lowest setting, and I'm just putting it away across the garage here. Lowest setting, and just heated that up just enough to where I made the adhesive a little soft. I pulled stuff off of these turntables, these types of turntables before, and just removed finish. So I wanted to be extra careful. And I'm just using a all-purpose degreaser cleaner. Sometimes I use the Simple Green. I've used both. Simple Green usually works. I should have grabbed that instead. I don't know if this stuff is going to be any good, but we'll see. We'll see how well it works. I don't know if it kind of softened that up a little bit back there. So anyway, I'm going to continue the cosmetic clean on the top, speed through that, and then we'll come back and I'll probably put the new cartridge on it, and then we'll come back and talk about cleaning the pitch controls. Man, this has like just a coating of grossness. All right, well, the degreaser and the Simple Green didn't touch that stuff, so I had to go with Goo Gone, and that pulled it right off. Including the adhesive for the dust bug, which was really, that stuff was really pretty nasty. So we're going to throw a AT3600L on this. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. There we go. Put this back just a tad. I get these off of eBay, and I don't know if they're actual 3600Ls or not. I get them from a company that sells a ton of them. I don't know that necessarily means anything, but I believe these are actual 3600Ls, and these have the carbon fiber cantilever. And they run real, you can run them real heavy. I think like 2.5 grams to 5 or something like that. And for the money, I think they're really good cartridges. So they're what I usually buy if we're going to throw a card on something, unless it's a high dollar turntable. But these run just fine. And installing that's pretty easy. And we have, let's see, red. Ugh. I know this isn't real exciting, but I don't want to pause the camera just for 10 seconds of putting this cartridge on here. All right, cartridge on there. And now we are ready to flip this thing over. I didn't clean the tone arm. Flip this thing over and work on the controls. Naturally, you still have to do a sound check. Hopefully the RCA cables are good, because I'm going to have to pull this bottom off to clean the pitch controls. And then put it back on to test for sound. I don't know if the feet have to come off. Sometimes the feet have to come off, take the bottom off, and sometimes they do not. It looks like we're missing at least one felt pad there. I don't know if I have anything that'll fit that. I do have some of these things, so I could replace those with these, but I don't know. And it's flat, so I don't know. Oh man, I wasn't even paying attention. Maybe I have to get to these from the top? Or maybe this has to come off after all. I don't remember ever working on one of these before, so. Well, that would make sense. That would make sense that these would come off and that would come off, so. I was just working on a Technics 1900, so like, I'm a, gosh, what the heck? I have that on my brain as far as disassembly goes. Huh. I am not real sure how to take this apart. I think maybe these come off and then the top slides off. Yep, I think that's how it goes. Well, maybe not. Man, I don't know. It's got me stumped. Maybe do the feet have to come off? I'm sure someone's yelling at me right now because there's something obvious that I'm missing, but I don't see, unless the feet do have to come off. Well, I'll pull them off and see. All right, I'm gonna figure this out. You can watch me. Well, that's kind of goofy. That's kind of goofy, but I just want to get these clean real quick. Now on these, I would say there's probably, I should probably do the other pots. I don't know if anything came out of there. Oh yeah, it came out of there. So these are the pitch controls that you access from the top, but on these types of turntables, there's a second set of pitch controls that'll actually help you make sure that the ones that you access from the top are accurate. I believe that was actually like that. Alright, so I'm just turning these. Got some crap on my finger. Just turning these a whole bunch of times. And the other controls that I'm talking about are these two variable resistors right here. Those can also have oxidation buildup. I think there's some grease on those connectors there. That's what's on my fingers, some kind of grease. All right, so I'm gonna put this back together. Put the bottom back on, and then we'll listen to it and see how it sounds. All right, so I forgot to clean up the bottom of that slip mat, but I'll do that when I do the dust cover and all that stuff. So let's see first how that speed's doing. Leave that up. Speed is much more stable, so that's good. So 33 is really good, and it's almost, it's not quite in the middle. So let's do 45 and let's see how far 45 is off. 45 is almost dead center. Yeah, 45 is almost dead center. So, you know, 33 isn't off that far. I'll probably leave it as is. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfectly centered, but it's a little, yeah, I think it's good enough. The more I mess with it, the more it seems to want to kind of center. So, but let me explain to you. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll go ahead and do it. And I got grease in my thumb. So, all right. So what I do is I'm going to turn this knob, right, and I'm going to try to kind of find the center. It's not really marked as far as I could tell. I don't see any marking. So that should be about center, and it's slightly off. So what you would do, you have a 33 and a 45 adjustment down there. Now, if I'm going to adjust it, I'm going to spray some cleaner into those variable resistors, and then you adjust it right by turning it. And it's really just a crapshoot, but I'm going to turn it back and forth a couple times. And then with the slip mat off, I'm going to start or continue. I'll just plug it back in. It should still be running. All right, and okay, so the turntable's running, I think, a little bit fast. So I'm going to unplug it. I'm going to turn this just a little bit counterclockwise first. So I'm going to turn it maybe a quarter of a turn, because I just want to see like what's happening. Is it speeding up or slowing down? Now that sped it up. So I need to turn it clockwise, and I'm going to turn it clockwise a little more than a quarter of a turn, and then plug it in. And what you do is you do that until, and right there it's almost perfectly stable. It's just a little bit fast. So I barely had to turn this pitch control, and now it's locked in. So that's how you do that. And my fear was that I was going to get that bar out of position, and I did. So there's a bar underneath there, and I thought it went on one side of a control, and it goes on the other side of a control. And I think I can get it without disassembling the whole thing. I'll show you what I'm talking about. But I don't know if you saw or not when I put the top back on. This little bar here, I moved to this side of this assembly, and it actually goes to this side of the assembly. So, and I didn't quite know if that was going to be right or not. Hence the reason I was able to go right to that and hopefully resolve the issue of it not wanting to go to the stop position or start position. All right, oh, I just dropped a screw. Fell right out of my hands. Oh, I see it. All right. Awful lot of work just to test for sound, huh? Okay. Hook this up to my bench stereo here. Still using the Macintosh 1900 that I got off eBay that I thought was a good deal. That was not. Works perfectly fine for my purposes in the garage. I'm tired of Johnny Rivers. I'm going to do Bob Seger. So, receiver's on. No hum. I'm going to do a poor man's oh man, that's dirty. Gotta clean that before we call this thing done. So all I'm doing is trying to get it to where it's just floating. It's not moving up or down. Close. Then I'll rotate the gauge or the guide here. Then I'll set it to 2.5. This still needs to be cleaned. And then I always use I use my little scale, my digital scale when I do these. I have one of these I bought off Amazon, so I'll dial it in with that and make sure it's good. So, and okay, here we go. Oh, don't have it plugged in. It's kind of cold in the garage. Sorry for my sniffling, but it's 47 degrees in here. Come over, drop down. Looks like the drop point is good. Doesn't have to be damped, or the damping looks good, I should say. Yeah. Good sound out of both channels. Go back. Here we go. Should shut off. Oh, it went to repeat. So anyway, looks like this turntable's pretty good to go. I'm not going to mess with the spindle on this one. You know, on direct drive turntables and Technics turntables specifically, I mean, I find that their platters are so heavy. There's not a lot of service that's required. I mean, this thing will just keep going. And this is, you know, this is an automatic turntable. I usually don't pull these apart because, you know, especially on a direct drive, these can be kind of a mess to figure out how to get in there and lube it and what you have to lube and stuff like that. So I usually don't mess with them. If they're good like this one, yeah, it seems to be good with this one. So I think, you know, I think I'm going to call this one done. The dust cover, it's in decent shape. It's not great shape. I mean, I can come back, maybe I'll buff this and come back and just show you the after. So I'll take this over to the other bench I got and buff this real quick and come back and wrap this video up. But no, this is kind of a real quick, basic cleanup and service of this Technics SL 1650. Decent turntable. That I got a screw loose on this side I got to fix. But decent turntable. Nice turntable. I'll do a gear review on this and talk about Technics turntables in general, but I'm going to wrap up this last little bit of cleaning, come back and finish the video. All right, the dust cover's been polished. It actually cleaned up pretty good. I think there's some scratches on the front. I don't use the orbital buffer on the front because I found that it doesn't really do much. It doesn't help a whole lot. So let me grab my little polishing cloth for the dust covers. But the top is cleaner. I mean, it's clearer than it was. So I'm gonna put a couple of bumpers though. I think I have my bumpers out here. I'm gonna put a couple of bumpers on the corners so it doesn't. I have some clear ones. I think I have some out here. I'm just going through my stash. I know I have some. I just can't find them. Here they are. I just buy these off Amazon, bunch at a time, and I don't go through them all that quickly, but it should go right. I'm gonna put it right on the corner, like so. I'm not going to use the gigantic felt pads like they used on this and just cut it in half. Like, why would you do that? Maybe it's all they had that they could use at the time, I suppose. All right, that's the Technics SL 1650. I'll be doing a gear review on this. Either it may already be released. I don't know. I've lost track of what comes what, or what comes first, what comes before what in my queue. So I think I'm going to wrap it up on the Technics SL 1650. I'm a popular guy. People are texting me, so I better go see what everybody wants. So I'm going to wrap it up here. As always, if you like what you see, like, hit, subscribe. Catch you in the next video.